So the video game industry's favorite butterfly, Miss Anita Sarkeesian, has emerged once again. And as is usually the case whenever she emerges, there are tons of response videos and people shit-talking her. So with that being the case, I thought I'd throw it in too. All right, so before I start, let me preface this by saying that I don't necessarily dislike Anita Sarkeesian. I don't. And to be perfectly honest with you, I hate to say this, but I have this weird sort of respect for Anita. I know I hate to say that. It kind of feels gross saying it. But because, look, this girl gets shit on. She gets shit on a lot. And she's still fucking here. She keeps coming back, fucking taking them hits. I mean, sure, she fucking, she goes to the UN and says, hey, we need to shut down these bad actors. But I mean, she's fucking putting herself out there. So there's a little bit of respect in that regard. Now, I know you could say to me, look, this is her hustle. This is how she makes her money. To which I would say, yeah, you're right. I mean, if you gave me enough money, I would dress up like, I don't know, a zombie Hitler and walk around Walmart all day in New Jersey. Like, I get it, right? If how you make your money is being controversial, then you be controversial. But giving her the benefit of the doubt, I sincerely believe that based on how she sees the world, she feels that there's a lot of injustice and I get it. People see the world through their own lenses all the time. But the reason why I have a negative reaction to her is because I saw a video of her where she's basically shit-talking video games. She's not a video gamer. She doesn't want to go around cutting off heads. She finds it disgusting.
I'm going to show you a remix that I just finished this weekend and no one else has seen. One person has seen it. It's a soundtrack of one song, except I'm doing video games. So it's not exactly a fandom. I'm not a fan of video games. I actually had to learn a lot about video games in the process of making this.
There's too many dicks on the dance floor.
Too many dicks on the dance floor. Too many dicks on the dance floor.
Too many dicks.
To me, the song is positive just because I've only contextualized it in a way to critique male domination in our media. And also video games, like I would love to play video games, but I don't want to go around shooting people and ripping off their heads, and it's just gross. So hence this is my response to that.
So when I see a picture of her on the internet sitting next to a massive stack of games, pushing her nerd credentials, it kind of makes me think she's full of shit. So with that being said, let's begin.
If you want to get to know a character, learn about their interests, goals, or desires, their butt is probably not going to give you that information. It won't tell you much about who they are or what they're thinking or feeling at any given time. But video game designers often choose to put tremendous focus on the butts of certain characters while going to almost absurd lengths to avoid calling attention to the butts of others.
And this is where we run into what one of my biggest problems with Anita is that she can have a point. She can have a valid point, but the examples and the way that she goes about trying to make her point turns me off. She says that they go to absurd lengths to cover up the male rear end. See that? I gotta wave the bullshit flag on that one. Look, if the video game was meant to cater to a male demographic, then it's going to cater to a male demographic. We can have the argument, since video games have reached the mainstream, they should be more inclusive. We should be more inviting of women and girls into the video game industry. And I totally agree. But Anita, you're not doing yourself any favors by trying to compare and contrast how males are shown in video games by showing a picture of the guy from Watch Dogs who's basically a hacker. What's a hacker? What do you expect a hacker to be in? I mean, he's a mankini, a little banana hammock. Is he supposed to be in a banana hammock? Is that what you want?
These carefully crafted choices developers make about camera angles and clothing significantly impact how players think about and relate to these characters.
And here we have some more bullshit. Now she's saying that this is kind of like a conspiracy, right? All these game developers are carefully constructing the video game just to have me stare at a pixelated booty so I can sexually, fap? I don't know, what are you going for here, girl?
Third-person games with female protagonists typically display those characters in a way that gives players a full-body view. A classic example of this is the original Tomb Raider games, which are presented from a third-person perspective wherein protagonist Lara Croft's entire body is visible. In these early Tomb Raider games, Lara's butt is typically right in the center of the screen, a camera orientation which, along with the sexualized clothing the designers choose to outfit her in, places a tremendous amount of emphasis on that part of her body.
See, the level of bullshit here is, it's tremendous, it's astounding, it's literally the biggest shitburger I've ever seen. It's amazing how she fucking actually managed to sit down and do this with a straight face. PS1 Lara Croft. PS1, 1996. I'm sexually objectifying Lara Croft. That's what the purpose was. That my attention was on her pixelated behind. That I wanted to, I guess, I don't know, jerk off to her image. Come on, girl. You gotta be. Look, if you had used Halo 4's Cortana, when Halo 4 Cortana first showed up, I thought they went a little far with that. I thought, man, she looks like a goddamn porn star, right? When I saw Cortana, that was the only time I wanted to fuck a computer. No, but you're using Lara Croft from PS1. Look, when I played that game, the only thing I was worried about is those goddamn tigers, man.
In dozens of third-person games with playable female characters, the character's butt is brought to the forefront, and that's where the player's focus is directed.
I can't listen. Anita, goddammit.
In Batman Arkham City, for instance, the player's gaze is drawn to Catwoman's behind, which is emphasized by her costume and exaggerated hip sway.
Yeah, maybe. Anita, I get it. But for like a second, maybe two, the player is more concerned with what's going on in the video game. The player is more concerned with the goddamn boss trying to eat your face. Nobody is jerking off to Catwoman. Actually, I don't know. There's a whole community of people that like hentai. I don't get it. And speaking of exaggerations, this is actually a real big problem in our society recently over the last couple decades or so, since that movie Pumpin' Iron came out. The human form is becoming more and more exaggerated. If you look at Batman in the Arkham City games, that dude looks like he's been fucking putting steroids right up his dick, dude. And I mean, look at Muscle and Fitness magazines. Fuck, I watched this one thing talking about Luke Skywalker figurines throughout the years. She just keep getting more and more jacked. And Luke Skywalker looked like a little bitch in Star Wars. So yeah, that's kind of a problem, that we're kind of turning humans into these freaks in our entertainment, that, you know, it's not really reasonable that they don't really look like that. But it's not just a female problem. It's going both ways, really. Gears of War comes to mind. Marcus is fucking jacked, dude. Resident Evil comes to mind. So no, we might not be looking at Marcus's sweet, voluptuous ass, but he's fucking huge. You want to talk about that? You want to talk about video game characters giving young boys an unreasonable expectation of what a man should look like? How about that? Right? No, it's a fucking game.
Let's contrast the way that women's butts are emphasized with the sometimes absurd lengths taken to cover up or hide men's butts.
And see, this part is the part which I think she's being sarcastic, and maybe she's trying to prove a point by jokingly pointing fun that you can never look at a male's butt as a joke. I don't know. That's what I hope she was going for here. But she puts a picture of, I guess that's Ezio. I can't tell. Wondering why we can't get a look at Ezio's sweet Italian ass. To which I say, he's a fucking assassin. That's what a fucking assassin wears. I guess I've never actually met an assassin in real life. She may have a point, but it's getting lost with all the bullshit examples that she chooses to put up on screen.
If some of this footage looks jerky, that's because in some games, trying to get a glimpse of male characters' butts can feel a bit like wrestling with the camera. Common ways men's butts are hidden are by preventing the player from seeing below the character's waistline, or employing a more over-the-shoulder camera angle, which has the added benefit of keeping the character's butt safely out of the frame. The most amusing solution is to simply include a cape, tunic, long coat, or very conveniently positioned piece of tattered fabric.
Look, this has got to be some kind of sarcasm that she's choosing to employ here. I hope she's not being serious. I hope that maybe I'm just too stupid to understand what she's trying to say here. But she's not really implying that the video game developers are, I guess, trying to avoid stirring some kind of homoerotic sensation in boys by making it impossible to look at Marcus's butt. I hope that's not what she's going for. God damn it.
Which actively prevents the player from getting a clear or sustained look at the protagonist's butt. For the purposes of this video, I tried to get a glimpse of Batman's rear end, but it's as if his cape is a high-tech piece of Wayne Industries equipment designed to cover up his butt at all costs. I like to jokingly refer to this aspect of a male character's costume as the strategic butt covering.
God damn it, girl. What the fuck are you doing? If this was a joke, it was horribly executed. We all make shitty jokes every once in a while, but this one, bad form, girl. Bad form.
This emphasis on the butts of female characters communicates to players that this is what's important. This is what you should be paying attention to. It communicates that the character is a sexual object designed for players to look at and enjoy. And by explicitly encouraging you to ogle and objectify the character, the game is implicitly discouraging you from identifying directly with her. Strategic butt coverings and camera angles that obscure characters' rear ends are not an accident. They are a conscious decision made with great care.
You can say that there should be more more female video game characters who aren't sexualized, and I would be totally on your side. But fuck, you're going about it the wrong way, girl.
Of course, female characters can also be framed in ways that aren't objectifying. A good example of this is the episodic adventure game Life is Strange, in which the protagonist's butt isn't emphasized or centralized. The camera angles work in conjunction with the story to encourage us to identify with her as a human being.
Yes, and this is where I agree. Look, Life is Strange, it didn't appeal to me. I thought it was a kind of a female game. I'm sure plenty of boys played it and plenty of boys loved it. I played a little bit of it. It wasn't my thing. And it's good to have these characters that appeal to girls and women to play video games. I like it.
Sadly, the box art for the third-person action-adventure game Beyond Good and Evil emphasizes and sexualizes Jade's butt.
Nope, you done fucked up, girl. You got to be fucking shitting me. No, I can't do it. This is sexualized. I can't fucking do it. I'm gonna go, where's my gun? Where's my fucking, I need to leave this world.
So to be clear, the solution here is not to simply show more butts of male characters. Equal opportunity butt display is definitely not the answer. Rather, the solution is to de-emphasize the rear ends of female characters so that players are encouraged not to ogle and objectify these women, but to identify and empathize with them as people.
Okay, that's a reasonable point. There should be more video games that sexualize women less and, yada, yada, yada. Good point. I can't reasonably argue against that. I think because of that video that you put out, bothers me. It bothers me. I gotta tell you, it bothers me because it feels like an outsider. It feels like I'm at McDonald's having a fucking Big Mac and a vegetarian comes and tries to tell me I'm murdering somebody. I don't like it. I'm not gonna like it. You could have a point, right? You could be absolutely right. But the way that you choose to convey the message has a tendency to turn people off. Well, anyway, guys, that's my I guess my response. See ya.